Hi, everyone, and welcome to March 5th, 2019. This is your Arbitrage Power Hour, and I'm your host, Joseph Pate. For the next hour, we're going to be going over some stock picks that are looking very interesting, setting up nicely for some good gains. We're also going to be talking about the beauty that is the arbitrage bands, a company that has set some great indicators and charts for even long-term traders or brand new people to the stock market to help use some math and some easy-to-read indicators to get really into the game. Because as we know, the stock market is a sink or swim kind of ocean that we're swimming around in. And I'd rather have some more information than less instead of hope. We want math. So if you'll see here, arbitrage is making the charts. This is what you normally see. Most traders have some kind of bands or indicators applying to these candles so that they can see more clearly which way the wind is blowing. So we're going to turn on what is called the arbitrage band. And there's a few features here. And there's a lot of lessons that we have online once you sign up that really break this down more in depth. But the gist of it is this is a tunnel, this orangish beigeish color here. The black line, called the RSI line as we call it, bounces around within the band, and it cannot leave the band. The candles are the current value of the stock. They've been colored a little differently. Blue candles mean that the stock has gone down in that time frame. Yellow candles indicate an uptrend. And a white candle means it stayed around the same price. It entered in and left around the same during that time frame. We're currently looking at the 1-minute chart at a stock called Atlas Financial Holdings, AFH. We saw them today. I always like to check FinViz. There's other places, StockTwits, you name it, that people are talking about stocks that could be interesting. And when we see a big fall, 58% in a day, it's worth looking into and to seeing what happened. Is there an entry point? So we actually took a look at this earlier this morning. It went down as low as 261. A lot of our team actually entered in about 269, 270. One of the things that we're looking for here is where's the bottom? Everybody tells you to buy low, yes, buy low and sell high. And what we want to do here is where is the low and where is the high? No one ever tells you that. So by looking at this arbitrage band, I'm looking at these candles, and I'm looking at this blue and red line and how they work together. The blue line is called the compass. The compass is your North Star, your heading on the stock. So if the compass, the blue line, is above the red line, which is momentum, it has an upward momentum, which is where we want to go for playing stocks long. If it is below the red line, it has a downward momentum. So obviously not a good place to get in. It's dancing with itself right now. So this alone is not enough of an indicator to make me feel happy to get in. It's barely above and then barely below. This black line, the RSI that we spoke about, cannot leave this band, but the band is opening up and making a little more room. But this is called a lower danger zone, this darker color of the band, and this is the upper danger zone. When an RSI line is in the upper or lower danger zone respectively, it has more chance to go up than it does to go down, so it's a good thing to know. Also, when the blue line, the compass, is below it, the RSI acts as resistance. So we don't like that. Now, if it does bust through, it then becomes some support. So we are watching. As you can see, blue is starting to angle up and break away from red. So we'll keep a closer eye on it. The stock is at $2.80. The reason we are very happy about this stock and very interested in it not crashing any further, here are some other indicators. I'll go deeper into these later, but red is usually bad and green is good. We've got red here. We've got red in the loop. Forecast is under this line and little red histograms. We do have some levels I'll get into later, and there's tons of, all of these are broken down individually in the training in arbitragetrade.com. But as you can see here, why would we get into this? Yes, it's starting to turn, but we're going to look at a bigger band. There are actually 5 bands that live within each other. We're going to go ahead and jump up to the largest band called the Apocalypse Band. This, too, has a line that has to bounce and stay inside of its own band. This tunnel is the purple line called the Pulse. The Pulse, as you can see, is not only in the lower danger zone, but at the very bottom of the lower danger zone. Let me turn off our Apocalypse Band so we can really see. The pulse is currently at $3.18. The bottom of its band is 313, so there's about a 5-cent gap. It could still fall. I like to kind of go back and watch how quickly it's falling. So we're on the 1-minute chart. Every candle is a minute. But we'll go back to, looks about 145, 144, so 30 minutes ago or so. And we're 10 cents apart right there. Now we're 5 cents. So it's catching up pretty quickly. The stock value will have to, if this runs out of room, the candles will come up and at least meet the pulse. They may go over a little bit and help it raise up and make more room for more down. But it's a good place to be looking at, 317, 312. At the rate it's dropping, we should see at least a $3 mark on this. And you wonder, what's the timeline on this? Is this today? Is this in an hour? Is this 3 weeks from now? Well, in arbitrage, we actually have a huge, huge benefit of the community that we've been building. We use Slack, and we have many, many different channels and rooms to talk in. We have the paid traders room, where anyone that's currently online that wants to talk about stocks can show their ideas. They can pull up. This is a gentleman showing a stock called STAF, and he's actually showing it on multiple charts the way he looks at it, the 1 minute, the 15, the hour, and the 1 day. So he can really see where this stock is going, and he even mentions that he really likes it on the 15-minute chart. We can even look at that later. But you'll notice people, myself included, are sending all kinds of stock ideas. We're talking to each other. The biggest part about a community is people are invested in what you're invested in. So if something starts going on and maybe you didn't set up alert or you are afraid of missing out on something, you have a whole team here telling you, hey, did you get in? Hey, did you get out? So it's really beautiful. Also, when you join up and you are on the novice plan, you get your own personalized room. Mine is called Room 8. You can add up to 30 at the start, up to 30 different stock symbols to be watched all the time by live bots that are going during trading hours. You'll see, here's one, RGSC. It's a solar company. Currently in the OTC markets, looking for that to come back in the next, hopefully, about 3 months, either on this earnings report or the next. But what's beautiful is that there is a bullish breaker. A bullish is good, going up. And it even tells you those exit points. Stock is currently at 42, and exits by math deviations are at 43, 44, and high 44s. So it's very interesting that bots can tell us where to get in, where to get out, and you don't see that anywhere else. Now, this is on the 15-minute chart. We do want to know that timeline. So in Room 8, we have this pinned, the arbitrage band time scale. This gives you a good example of how to determine what the time frame is. Now, let me just warn you all, and I'm sure any of you who have traded before know, anything can happen. Anything can happen much quicker. If this says this can happen in the next 6 to 20 days, it can happen today. But this is the average time frame based on the math. And it's very, very accurate, to be honest. But this is kind of what you're looking for, this or sooner. So we were talking about the 15-minute chart. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a different one. There's so many that you can go back and forth through. But AFH, the 1-minute chart, and we're looking at the apocalypse band. 1-minute chart, apocalypse, down here in the bottom right, 2 to 6 days. So it can take 2 to 6 trading days for this to happen, for it to do what we want it to do. And what do we want it to do? Well, we want it, it's 4 cents apart now. We want it to reach up and at least touch that 314. It's still dropping, so probably at least $3, like I said, from the rate it's dropping, or 305, which is still nice. That's about 10% from the 280. If it gets up to 305, it's very close to 10% profit. Now, when it touches that line, if it's completely out of room, it's probably going to burst through. When we see a stock burst through its candles above the pulse, it normally goes around the mean of that stock value. The mean right now is 590. That's going to keep dropping a bit, but that is a great profit margin. So we love seeing things when the stock has fallen $4 in a day, and seeing this on a very 1-minute chart I'm happy within the next 2 to 6 trading days to make several dollars per share on this stock. So we are saying AFH. Me personally, I'm saying this is a good buy. I told my team earlier today that a buy point was $2.69. Several people got in. Still not a bad buy at all at this 280 range. For those of you who just joined us, if you're in as well, the 1 minute chart on AFH is setting up very, very nicely. And I'll be nice with my team just to extra show them. This is one of the quick things we can do when you have a group. Take a quick screenshot with whatever snipping tool you've got. And I can even just write AFH at 284 is a good buy on the 1 minute chart. Send a little picture, show the team, and you've got this community of people. You've got a community of bots that you set up yourself. Also, you can pick, depending on the type of trading you do, you can ask basically the web developer who invented this, do you want 15-minute chart alerts? Do you want to play the 1 minute chart? Maybe you are very much a swing trader or even a day trader. You can get alerts at a very high level. Certain people have access to, and we're testing this out now, but there's actually, let me clear this up. Oh, jumped ahead of the game there. But we are working on a complete cryptocurrency by the minute day trading, which we're very excited about. I know Ethereum and Bitcoin never sleeps, and other symbols as well. So anyone who's interested in that, definitely you can ask before you even sign up with Arbitrage, but we're very excited. We also have channels based on sectors. Here's an entire energy sector. These are free to anyone who's in Arbitrage and is a paid trader. This is literally pulling all energy stocks, and anytime they hit on a 15-minute alert, gives you a little time to get in there and look at it. 3 deviations up. Let's go into it. What does that mean? What does 3 deviations up mean? What does 3 deviations down buying alert? Well, let's take a look. Here's GE. It's currently at $9.74 as of that alert. 3 deviations down on the 15 minutes. So I'm going to actually pull that up for you. GE, we're using TradingView currently. A little information for everybody. In the next 1 to 2 months, we are planning on getting away from TradingView. TradingView is a great site, but it does cost extra. We're trying to incorporate as much value into Arbitrage bands as possible. And the go live has not been completely announced, but we're looking roughly 1 to 2 months. You'll be able to use Arbitrage website to get everything you need to see all of these symbols and bands that we're looking at now and do the trading you need to do. You're also not going to be nitpicked, penny pinched. You don't have to pick which types of NASDAQ or ARCA. You don't have to pick which brokers and firms and to see live trading. It's all going to be live, all up to date. We're very excited about it. So now if you look here, GE, we're going to go to the 15-minute chart as the bot told us. And make sure I've got it correct. We're on the 15-minute alert. These alerts are normally on the daily chart, a much bigger picture. I'll clean this up for you. There we go. At the time of that alert, it was, these are deviations. And I'm not going to go too deep into this now. This is actually not the right exact one of when it went under. But just to show you, mathematically, yes, the RSI line has to live within this band. The candles move up and down, dragging it around, but it has to live inside of it. Well, the candles themselves can go up and out and down and out a certain distance before they realistically have to come back. We call those, each step is a deviation. 3 deviations up is this line you see here. 3 deviations down is the line you see here. Well, the candles, we'll go back a bit. When they go outside of the band, they can go outside and pull it down. We've seen a stock fall, or jump, jump, jump. But mathematically, it cannot live here. It has less than a 1% chance to stay underneath that price. So usually what it'll do is it'll come out a bit. It'll make some room. And if things, as you see, blue is still below red. It is in a downward momentum. So it doesn't mean you should enter here. Let the things change. Let the tides change. So, okay, it's back under. Now we've got blue above red. You could have gotten in about 749, or you could have waited. Look at this. Arbitrage has many different indicators. Green means go. Well, now we've got some green bubbles. There's 679. This is even better. You could have waited for the blue compass line to pass over the RSI. It is in a lower danger zone, so it has much more room to go up than it does to go down. And right here, could have got an entry at 730. May have not been the best possible entry. Could have been a little more ambitious and aggressive and gotten at these green circles. But right here, you have multiple indicators telling you. And you could have ridden this up. It's at 982. This actually happened, if you look at it, January 3rd. This is a much bigger chart. We're looking at the daily. We can play a lot faster and looser on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute charts because each candle represents the timeline that is at the top. But isn't that great to know that in 2 months' time, you could have gone from $7.33 up $2.50 based on this. And it's just now starting to run out of room. I'm going to pull in some of these other indicators just to show you that right here when the green went over, our biggest breaker is still red, but we did get green on the loop. Our level took a little bit longer to be happy and went above this forecast line, and one of our biggest levels went above. So ultimately, long term, you have these indicators, you have green arrows, green is go. And we love things like that. We don't have to draw lines and get out a protractor. So I just have found this. I traded for years before, and I use news, I use forums, read reports on different stock websites, and you just get what they want you to get. Now I've got math behind it and a team and bots helping me know when to get in and get out. It does take some practice. I don't want anyone to be overwhelmed. I know I'm not going in extreme detail about every little thing because we do have training lessons. When you sign up to Arbitrage, you'll notice a beautiful website. You can even see, for those of you who haven't been using this is decently new, but it's been working amazingly. You can click this view by sector on your home screen and see all the sectors, technology, healthcare, and see if they're currently bullish in the short term, long term, what's happening right now. Most things are recovering. As we know, there was a big drop yesterday. Not fun for a lot of us, depending on how you played it. But there was, at one point when the market was really crashing, almost every one of these was bearish except one sector. I don't remember which it was, but then hey, instead of just not playing the market and waiting, I can at least play the one sector that is still bullish. So this is a great thing here. You can even sort and filter based on sectors. There is a sector filter. So let's say you knew you really wanted to play the technology sector, and you knew based on that chart that we just looked at that sector was still bullish and nothing else was. You could filter by technology. You could pick is it in the danger zone? We want things to be in the lower danger zone. Currently, there's no tech stock on the daily that is in the lower danger zone. So, okay, no beautiful, beautiful things right now, but you can sometimes find diamonds that will make you a pretty penny right here. So we'll also go into some of these other SEC compliance indicators. This is something I haven't seen any other site have. I love it. A lot of our team, day trades, penny trades, swing trades, penny stocks. Well, penny stocks can be very scary, very volatile, but you can get more money out of them, a higher percentage in profit. Well, let's say we're looking at a stock that's under $1. For instance, AVEO. We've got it in the list. We'll pull it up in just a minute. Sorry about that. I can type in AVEO right here, and I can see that it's been 22 days out of compliance. So roughly it's been 22 days since they've been under $1. And what's great about this is knowing that a stock has 0 to 150 days, you don't have to worry usually. You still want to do some more research, talk to the team, but 0 to 150, they're not pushed to get back in compliance yet. But that last 30 days, sometimes there's a huge push and you can make a lot of profit there. This keeps our team from holding a stock until it reverse splits or delists. So I love this new compliance scan. It does something even more powerful. We originally made it just so we can see when a stock is out of compliance, but now we actually have all of the danger zones, all of those bands. I'm going to actually dive into each one of these and show you how they live inside of each other. But I can filter and say, yes, it's in the lower danger zone on the Apocalypse band, the biggest one. Yes, it's in the lower danger zone on the Advance. This is all at the same time, mind you. So right now, because it doesn't look like there's any that match all of these, because that's just a blue moon, but when it happens, it is amazing. These 5 stocks currently are in the lower danger zone on the daily chart, one of the biggest charts, on the biggest bands. So we could pick one. I like something in the dollar range, CLIR. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to fill up the chat. I would love to look at any stocks that you want or answer anything that you have. But I'm going to turn on all of these bands, and we're going to take a look. So right here, as you'll notice, it's just touching this lower danger zone. It's just entered into it, just barely, but it's technically in it. This is the Apocalypse. We go to the Advanced band. Its RSI line, the bouncing line in between it, is in the lower danger zone. More chances to go up than down because it's running out of room. And the intermediate is also in the lower danger zone. Clean this up. And this is a little steeper. I like to see steeper because the steeper it is, the more likely it is to run out of room and not just make room. If it touches and bounces off, we'll see some of those. It's a really beautiful thing. These bands will work in a shadow system. You'll see what happens on the smaller band happened at a more stable curved approach, but it will happen later in the bigger bands. So this is potentially very nice. 106 is the current value. The mean of this band is $1.70. Let's look at it on shorter term. Why would I get into something on the daily chart, which can be, go back to look. Oh, we have some new people moving in. Here's our time scale again. Now we're looking at the daily chart, and we're also looking at the intermediate band, which is our middle band, AIB. Well, how long is that going to take for that to happen? Well, daily, intermediate, 1 to 2 years. I don't know about you. Some people are big investors. They like looking at the bigger picture, and they'll invest in stocks, especially ones that have dividends. There's nothing wrong with that. It's beautiful. There's every different type of investment strategy is good as long as you have a strategy and it makes sense for how your money, how your life is, what your age is, what your risk to reward ratio is. A lot of people that I know that are younger, that don't have children yet, they like to play a little fast and loose. We still recommend spreading out and diversifying your portfolio into different sectors and also into many different stocks. But it is nice to know that on the bigger picture, a lot of these bands are in their lower danger zone, so there's more room for up. Let's go closer time. Let's see what we can make this week, next week. What kind of profits could we make on this CLIR? Well, this is a good time to go through the bands with everybody. Okay, so here is the Arbitrage band. It is our smallest band, and it's going to be the most up-to-date to real time. We have our 3 deviations up and down, as we talked about. We have our blue compass and our red momentum. The compass is currently, we'll even zoom in a bit, compass is above the momentum, which we like. That shows an upward momentum of the stock. It is also above the black RSI line, which means that RSI line is now a little resistance at 106, right where it's at. And we can look at our other indicators. Currently, breaker, which we're going to go deeper into these later, probably in another session. If anyone really wants to dive into these, I can. But just for now, all you really need to know is red is bad, green is good. So we're still not at a perfect spot. We've got red here, but green is coming up to meet it. The forecast is just touching the level. Anything above this line is good, and anything below is bad. And then this is something you can get later. It's called Level Pro. We also have, I'll clean this up for you. This is what you get with the novice plan. You get the basic level. It's a lot easier to read. So as you can see, the loop is even bigger. It's beautiful. It's bold. You got a histogram to see if more people are buying or more people are selling currently. You also can see, here's the classic level that's following a much closer version of this line, and it is currently below. Okay, well, why would we get into this? It may not be a good time to buy, but let's take a look. I'm going to go through the bands here, sorry about that, and show you how these bands live inside of another band. Well, how do we know that this band, right, it was going down earlier. This band just made some room. It got larger. It went down. It's kind of evening out. Well, what's to say this band is going to just go up, 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 or go down or get big and swollen? Well, we look at its big brother. Every band moves up into another band. We're going to, before I move up, I want everybody to focus on this orange line here in the middle. That is the mean. The mean of this band is this orange line. It's always going to be in the middle of it. So, but when we move up a level to the novice band, you'll notice that this is now the bouncing line, clean it up, of the next band. There's that orange line. It went down. It went into the lower danger zone. It couldn't really stay there. It doesn't like to live there. And it started to come out and make some room and go out. So when you're looking at this band and wondering, okay, I'm going down, am I going to just keep going down? Keep going down? Well, you look at the big brother, and you see that it more than likely will start to even out or go up because we are in the lower danger zone. Well, what is this band doing? Is this band going to go over lateral? Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? Let's go up to its big brother. That's the way I kind of see them. It's like gravity. Little kids follow their big brothers. We're going to go to the intermediate band now. So keep an eye on this blue line, the mean of this band, and let's see where it's bouncing in the next biggest band. I love to see this. The blue line is it going down. As you can see, it's that shadow effect from the band before, just on a larger scale. It takes a little longer to happen. It's more stable, but it is in a lower danger zone. It doesn't mean that it can't keep going down. It's got room to fall, but it doesn't have much. And if we see what happened with the previous bands, I'm going to pull up the last one. It went down and then moved over laterally and up a bit. So we like to see that in this band, which is actually above the current candles. It's 109, 110. Not huge profits, but that already could be about 4 or 5% profit if things go well. Let's go up to the next level. Now this one still has room to fall, but if you look at where the fall is, 110, it's one to definitely watch. I'm actually liking the CLIR, and what makes me feel better about it is we found this stock here on this search on a daily chart, which is 1 to 2 years. I like knowing that on the 1 to 2 year chart, this is almost out of room for the bottom floor. I like knowing that it is more than likely over the next 1 to 2 years going to be going up. So if I can see that also on the short term, it has more chance to go up than down, and I have that long-term safety net, I will start looking for an entry point. I can even ask my team, get some other eyes on it, people that have read these charts with me, see what they see. There's tons of indicators, actually. Some of the indicators I'm showing you are just scratching the surface, especially depending on what plan and how in-depth you like, but there are tons and constantly growing library of tools to make it easier to read these stocks and to look for what you want. So CLIR, everyone, I just want to bring up, is a good long-term from what we can see right now. Always want to keep an eye on it. Short-term is probably not a bad buy. If you look at the daily range, 105 to 107, it's staying pretty tight. Let's take a look at the volume. I should have looked at that a little sooner now that I can see. Okay, here is a good point, and I want to emphasize doing this early because I could have saved some time there. The charts still read accurately as I read them, but on a stock that has less than 400,000 volume a day on average, it's harder to sell, especially if you're buying a good quantity. A dollar stock, you buy 1,000 shares, you put $1,000 into it, you are now 132, 133 of the daily volume. It might be a little harder to sell when you want to sell, especially a large amount. So keep that in mind. A lot of us, even myself, have made good money on what we call low float stocks, on these very low volume stocks. but you actually impact the stock a lot. When you buy it, it may jump up 3-4 cents because you bought so much. Really just keep an eye on that. If you're testing the waters with a low float stock, I would do a small amount of shares. Maybe if you're originally going to do 1,000, maybe do 250. You want to make sure those orders fill. But you can make a lot of money in this, but it can also fall a lot quicker too. So really keep an eye. If you want to play it safer, 400,000 is that good number, 400,000 or higher. We can look at a stock like BPTH. They today have 1.81 million. So if you have a couple thousand shares, you're just in the crowd. You're going to be able to sell and buy at whatever the current market value or your limit order, which we always recommend doing as a limit order. Actually, I do want to go through some of the other features of arbitrage, and we're going to dive in to some Q&A and some stocks that we're seeing very, very nice right now that we're recommending to people. Go back to arbitrage. This chart for everyone, longtime members, new people, this is currently filtered by the daily chart, which is that big chart, that big safety net long term. Great for finding dividend stocks that you want to just kind of go up and not even have to touch them. So this is beautiful for investors. But I like to swing trade and sometimes dabble in day trading. And so we are actually, in the next few months, going to have these compliance to be able to be searchable on up to even the minute chart. So very excited. You can pick your play style and set alerts even. There's SMS alerts built into arbitrage. You can get, there's honestly so many features, and it's growing so quickly. It's like a kid at a candy store. When you're playing with stocks, you want as many tools as you can have under one roof, one pane of glass. But you can set up SMS alerts, pick your, I turned it off just briefly so my phone number wouldn't be visible, but you can pick your provider, set your alerts, enable it, and start getting alerts directly from arbitrage. You can even sign up for RSS alerts for your favorite stock, so you're not having to go to, like the company we mentioned earlier, Real Good Solar. You don't have to go to RGS Energy's website and sign up for theirs directly. You can sign up right in here. Also, you have a referral program. You can, right now, you can look at my referral code. You can send that to people. Anyone who wants to use this now, if this is published on YouTube or StockTwits, I'm glad for you to use my code. But once you sign up, please send your own code. You get 30% of their monthly fee towards your fee. So if you sign up 3 people at the same level you are, yeah, you're not like making money off of that. We're trying to make money selling and buying stocks. But hey, isn't it nice to just have a free set of tools and you're spreading the good word to other people to help them make some money? So just keep that in mind. I'll send this to anyone who wants it that's not already signed up, but definitely be sending this out. No reason not to get some extra money or free tools. Jump back in. One last thing I really want to show is the winner's report. As you can see, there's so many things. I could talk about this for hours, and I'll be doing this every day from 2 to 3 every trading day. This week is free. Starting next week, we will be going into subscription for this. We're pretty excited about it. We want to answer questions for people, find a lot of good picks. So it's going to average a little under $10 a day, or right at, per trading day for that subscription. And if you think about it, my goal is to make it valuable for you. I want to make it where you have enough tools and enough new information and training on how to read this that it makes you much more than $10 a day. There are filters based on the entire market that happen every night about 2, 3 a.m. So you wake up to these beautiful winners reports. It even tells you the date when it happened. This was right at, it says March 4th, so it happened, I think, right before midnight when the scans finished running. These are going to be even more real-time as we move into the future. But I can look at a bigger section and say, well, what's 3 steps down, 3 deviations down, as we call it, a stock that is under $5 on the arbitrage band? Well, here's, let's take IMGM. You could click on it right here. You could go into the details and see inside of arbitrage, is it a sell window? It is currently on the bigger chart, a sell window. It's still a downtrend on the hourly window. You can see the highs and lows. This is going to be updated as well going forward, but I like to take this and go into my trading view, which is what we use right now, and look at IMGN. For those of you that were part of this Arbitrage Power Trading Hour Friday, you're already happy. You've already most likely paid for a full month or two of this program, because we recommended IMGN at 252 from what we were seeing that day and for the long term. So it is really nice to know that a stock is up basically 10% from Friday. Whatever amount you put in, if you put in $1,000 as 100, you've almost got it taken care of for an entire month from one day's pick. So let's take a look. We were just told by Arbitrage, without doing any work, we wake up in the morning, we see a stock under $5, maybe that's our sweet spot. It's 3 devs down, and I just pulled up IMGN. So here's our daily, here's our Arbitrage band, and look at it. The candles are underneath the 3 deviations. It has less than a 1% chance to live there. That makes me really happy. It makes me happy that the stock is going to at least temporarily come out of that zone, which 3 deviations down is right around the $2.95, $3 mark. Not super high, but doesn't mean I have to play on this big scale. It just shows me a stock that is of interest that I want to look at. So, and just so that you know, I think our team is playing this about the 30-minute chart. Let's take a look. So the 1 minute is all scrunching up. Which way is it going to go? Let's take a look at the biggest band, the Apocalypse. Okay. Here's these big red lines. Let me clean this up for you. The large red lines at the very top and bottom are 3 deviations up and down of the Apocalypse band. So even on a much larger scale, the stock cannot live there mathematically. It was below. You could have gotten it in the 240s, but it has made its way above. It still has much higher chance to want to gravitate towards this mean, 493, and the pulse. But this isn't beautiful to me. It's still nice. It's nice to know that it's lower and it needs to come up mathematically. But there is a chart that we've all been looking at that we're very excited about. Let me find it for you. It's actually pretty quick to find. You'll notice when they stand out. I'm looking for a pulse to be in a lower danger zone, that purple line. Oh, here's the 5-minute chart. Let me check the 1 minute first, just to see if we have an even more beautiful. Oh, here's the opposite. So the 1 minute chart is in the upper danger zone for the largest band. That means it has more likely chance, more room to go down than it does to have to go up. We did get in this stock about 252, so we're not feeling bad about it. Let me zoom out for you here. That was, pull up the old calendar, March 1st. In TradingView, if you don't know about it, you can just pick a calendar date down here at the bottom with a go-to. You can hit it. Thinking about it. Okay, right here, March 1st. So we got into this stock. Here's 225. We actually got alerts and bots telling us sooner, but a lot of us entered in here. Look at this green little flag. The pulse is out of room. This was March 1st at, looks like 1:18 in the afternoon, and we saw this, and a lot of us got in right at 252. It had very little room to go down and more room to go up. So we bought. And look at it, it's 277. It had more room to go up than down. And we followed it along, I'm going to hit reset to go back. Now, we don't like this. We don't like this pulse being in the upper danger zone. I've seen this grow and make room, just like at the bottom, but it has more chance to come down and at least test and get back to the 271. So know that it being this high, it's more likely going to go down on the short term. We'll go to the 5-minute chart. This is beautiful, knowing that even if it goes down on the short term, it is in the lower danger zone, and if we break through, we could see a candle jump up, a price jump up to around the 420s. That is a beautiful profit margin based on risk to reward, in my mind. If I see a stock that might drop back down to 227, and I may go down about 20%, or I could go up 80% on the 5-minute chart on the Apocalypse band. You're still new. We can check our chart. We're looking at the Apocalypse band. Oh, where's that 5-minute chart? We don't see it here. Well, it's just math. We can take 2 to 6 days and multiply by 5. So we've got 10 to 30 days, trading days. That's a little longer than a lot of us like, but to be honest with you, 10 to 30 days to make 80%, I'm fine with it. Diversify, spread your stocks out, play some other ones so you don't get finicky. But we are still saying IMGN. I am saying that IMGN is a good pick, and it looks like it's going to make us some good money. More chance for up than down. I like those odds. Moving on to one that we actually found today, AFH. And this is March 5th, 2019. For anybody who's watching this video later, they can go back to this date and see what happened. But the pulse on the 1 minute, which is that 2 to 6 days, 2 to 6 days, apocalypse, 1 minute. We're looking at the biggest band, everyone. It is very much almost completely out of room, but it is in the lower danger zone. We have 305 is the pulse right now. 289 is the bottom of its band. So it has room to fall, but it has more room to grow than fall. We can take a look at all the other bands. I want to show you a really cool effect here. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, we usually see some very good results. It's called coiling. If you'll notice, these larger bands that all live within inside of each other, I'm going to go backwards. Normally, they're all spaced out like this. They're all spread out. They can be in different areas of each other, but you'll notice a pattern here. They start to shrink and run out of room. Here is our, clean it up. Here's our arbitrage band. It went down, and it started to go into this lateral pattern. It's dropping a bit. But when you look at it on a bigger picture, it's definitely, it's moving, it's doing its thing up and down. But on a wider picture, you'll notice that it's actually scrunching itself inside of its larger band, the advanced band. And they're all living at the bottom. Well, where's the advanced band? Is it at the top of its big brother? No, it is at the very bottom, and it is scrunching up. When all of these things are coiled together and all of these little bands are living at the bottom, there's really only one place to go, and that is up. So we like to see, we normally see an explosion rapidly, almost seems like it's out of nowhere. This is on the 1 minute chart. So in the next 2 to 6 trading days from March 5th, we could see AFH make its way back up to the 568 range. May drop a little lower. You could even be safe and say about $5. We'll watch this as time goes on. We'll set alerts in our trading view. We'll set alerts inside of our arbitrage SMS alerts, and we'll talk to the team. AFH, I can go to my own room right now, my room page, and help the whole team and say, watch AFH. Using some keywords here. Give it a second. It'll actually join itself to the list. I think we're actually doing some updates on the bots in the background right now. But it will join it to my entire list of stocks, and it'll give these kinds of alerts. It'll let people know in my group, even if they haven't been watching this, hey, here's a selling opportunity. Here's a buying opportunity. A bearish alert has happened on a bigger band or a bullish breaker. So you get all of these different bots applied to a stock because you've said this is something I want to watch. You don't have to manually watch it. So using a combination of your custom Slack chat room, your community inside of Arbitrage Slack trades, and TradingView or Arbitrage alerts, you are getting emails, text messages, maybe even phone calls from friends to say, hey, we've got our limit set to maybe 560 just in case it hits that high. But everybody watch out for AFH to make up some of the drop that it had in the last day or two. So we're very excited about that. If there's any questions that anyone has, we can go through a million stocks. We can apply arbitrage bands to all of these. It takes practice. You know, I may have been going a little fast for some of you, but I do recommend once you log into your arbitrage, up here at the top you'll see an education button. I am happy to answer questions even after hours, after this scan, but we have currently 3 and growing lessons. You can go into it, fully done videos with an instructor. You can actually jump to, let me pause it for you, but that RSI line I talked about, you can actually learn exactly what that means inside of arbitrage. You can look at momentum and compass and how they work together, how to set up your filters a little better. It's really beautiful stuff. Lesson 2 goes a little more advanced. You're going to actually kind of get into some more of the strategies. So,
welcome back to Arbitrage.
So there's different rules here. This is not that long, but that's the whole point, is learning some strategies and how do you combine these together and how do you use arbitrage. The third lesson goes into more advanced options and some of those other tools.
Arbitrage trade.
You'll notice earlier when I was going through these charts, I'm also looking at different indicators that give me more advanced views and tell me things that I don't have to manually go and look at. I don't have to look at layer 2 tape all the time. I don't have to go and check my volumes constantly. I can go to some tools like this and see, are more people right now selling or buying? This is called the loop or the circuit. You'll see that when more people are selling, you've got red histograms pulling that stock down. And so red is on top. It's in the lead, if you will, and it's winning. But when people are buying, they could be buying just a little bit, or they could be buying a lot, and we'll see a big jump in the stock. And so these indicators, several of them are taught on individually here. I'm going to show you a little taste. I'm not going to really get into it, but there are so many cool tools in arbitrage for if you are a trader willing to take the time and make the money by using tools and using math. You can even get things like this. This is called 3D. You can see the stock at a micro and a macro level at the same time and really know where that line is bouncing. You'll see these 2 little blue lines. The actual candles live along its own line. The candles are the value of the stock, everyone, and they have their own little band, and this is rapid fire moving if you're using this in the 1 minute. If you can perfect this on day trading, you're going to be a master. But when it runs out of room, it starts to even out, and we'll jump up and down. I'm not going to get too deep into this. This is an entire lesson on its own, maybe even 4 lessons. But there are so many tools in arbitrage that are constantly growing that the only limit is your time and how much you're willing to learn and grow and use the community to automate a lot of this. You can look and draw charts and hope, but I'd rather use math, and I'd rather use communities and robots and alerts. That's just me. You know, I don't have all the time in the day to sit here constantly. I'd rather put in the time early, watch some videos, talk to the team, practice. You can learn from me each day, watching these videos and watching live, asking about a stock that you're actually interested in. Maybe you found out about AFH and you wanted to say, hey, is this a good buy? I don't have these charts, or I just got them. I can pull them up and look at them with you, with our entire team, and we can talk about them just like we did now. It's very exciting stuff. Arbitrage is only growing. If you were lucky enough to get in on the $10 plan in the last year, that was you're grandfathered in, but there are so many improvements that have been added. The minimum plan is now 100, and it probably won't stay that way for too long. The amount of tools that this is growing and the amount of accuracy that it has had, you know, when something's just worth its money and makes you money, yeah, if you're not on the $100 plan within the next year, you're probably going to be sad that you missed out. That's my personal prediction. I've been very happy with this. It has paid for itself much over. AFH will likely pay for several months of subscription by itself. IMGN I'm excited about as well. So keep those in mind, everyone. BPTH, before we leave, really getting there for a good setup. There's a lot of fluctuation with this stock. Let me clean it up. BPTH was, it opened at 523 today. It was, I believe, 850 yesterday. It was very, very high. We'll use the old Google just to take a quick look. I can go backwards in the band. There we go. But I like to just quickly see a very simplified. Here we go. I know it spiked over $8 within the last 5 days, $8.50. We were actually there. If you were in the group watching this same video and asking questions, somebody brought this stock up, I believe it was Friday, March 1st, yes. We called the stock at $6.30 when it went back down, and we said it was going to go up at least to $6.70, $6.80, and it bursted right through. We watched it within a 25-minute time frame. It went from $6.30 all good green indicators, tons of them, up to 850. Actually, I'll go right back to that for you just to show you how easy it is to read. Okay, believe we're getting close, March 4th. Oh, it might have been, I don't think it was yesterday, but even yesterday. Let's take a look. And right here. Sorry for all the clicks. Okay. We have a stock. We're watching this stock. It's falling. Okay, we don't know in real life that it's going to go up that high. What do we know? We know this. We know that the stock is falling. It's hitting 3 deviations down, hitting 3 deviations down. Why aren't we getting in? It's 3 deviations down. Well, that's only one indicator. Mathematically, it can't live there long. It has to make room, and it can fall more. But our blue compass line is still below our red momentum, so it's negative momentum, downward momentum. It is also below the black RSI line, so that has got a level of support, or resistance, I apologize. It has to break through. And it's also got room to fall. Well, this RSI is now falling deeper and deeper into its danger zone. The compass has moved above the red momentum. It's upward, and then it touches and tests. This is where we wait and watch. Does it bounce off and bring the stock lower down because it's resistance, or does it break through and become a level of support? As soon as this breaks through at 626, 628, this is real time. People were buying this. We were talking about it. I can look at my other indicators. Well, my breaker, which the training has on it, we'll get deeper into it, but it's basically saying on a much larger view, because I'm looking at that advanced band, way up the charts, it's still red, but okay. More people are now buying than selling. We have our green loop coming over. Our forecast has just gone above, and several levels. You'll have a much cleaner view. I like to look at like 6 bands at once. That's just the way I roll. What's so great about Arbitrage is it's customizable. You can see as many or as few alerts and the way that you want them. You can change them on the fly. I could change this breaker from the advanced to the RSI line to know in real time, is it going above that? Is it testing? Oh, look, it went green. Get in green, get in green, get in green. And you could have ridden this up. Could have gotten out at 3 deviations, but nothing else was telling you to get out yet. Could have gotten a little scared here, which is nothing wrong with taking 625 to 680, taking over 10% profit in the course of 9:03 a.m. Making sure 9:04 to 9:41. Not even 40 minutes of time. Could have made 10% on your money right here. Day trading without really having to do that much effort and work. And that's when you got scared. But if you held and waited and watched, let me go back and look at our other alerts. Yes, it went red. You could have sold, could have gotten back in right here. Okay, we went back up, followed it up a little more, and then now you get a downtrend. Look at this. It went back under. You've got a down arrow. What's easier to read than a down arrow or an up arrow? Trends change. Here's one right here. It went up, and yeah, it didn't spike through the roof. It went up a little and went down. But if you even just bought at 640 and sold at 637, you're not losing a real big percentage. And then you got back in at the next green arrow, 632, sell at 663, you're making 5%. You're in again. Oh, well, this one's up and it goes down. Well, that's scary, right? Well, that's why we don't just buy and sell just on these arrows. The arrows are great, but you want to look at the bigger picture too. The arrows mean a downtrend is happening or an uptrend is happening. But why would you stay in if you've got blue going below red? Your red is here, you're below the line. So it's all about these number of indicators. Arbitrage has so many different tools that you don't have to pick one thing and go with it. You can check your math, so to speak, check your work and have a different way. If I'm on a boat and I'm trying to sail towards an island that's a tropical island, which is my retirement, I want to use as many different scientific instruments to follow. And if one tells me this is the right direction, it could be telling the truth. But if 6 say this is the right direction and 1 says no, I'm going to listen to the 6. So take some time, learn the tools, ask the questions, but you will find that arbitrage will make and save you right here in BPTH. Yesterday's podcast, by the way, BPTH was over $6, and we looked at the charts, and I forecasted it. You can ask everyone. I said, I'm not even going to talk about this until it hits 475. I set an alert for 475 yesterday for BPTH. You'll see that it hit right here. I don't know if you can see what the at 9:03 this morning, it hit the 475 mark. So I started looking at it again. Bigger term, BPTH has a lot of fluctuation, and we can make some good money. But today's picks, IMGN still good. AFH, if you haven't already gotten in at the 252 or the 260 that we talked about yesterday, we're still very, very much liking AFH. So any questions anyone has? Arbitrage is so powerful. There's so much that I can't even get into in one day. Highly recommend checking out what arbitrage is all about, asking me questions. We have a YouTube page, a Facebook page. Feel free to message the owners. My name is Joseph Pate. You can ask about me directly. I will be honored and happy to answer any questions you have. Feel free to join this the rest of this week for free. Send the link out to thousands of people. I don't care. You can flood me with questions. I'll get to them as much and as quickly as I can. But starting next week, this will be a paid subscription. We will be increasing the value add to this program as time goes on as well. I want to make it where you don't even think twice about arbitrage or about the training you're getting with arbitrage, because it should make you so much that this is just a training cost, a write-off on your taxes. So thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate your time, and good luck trading, and I hope you have a great one. Bye, team.